Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar delivered India's statement at the SCO Council of Heads of Government meeting this morning in Islamabad. In his address, the minister flagged concerns over terrorism and extremism. He noted that the SCO needs to be able and adept at responding to challenges facing in a turbulent world. The minister said that SCO's primary goal of combating terrorism, separatism and extremism is even more crucial in current times. It requires honest conversation, trust, good neighborliness and reaffirming commitment to SCO Charter. The SCO needs to be firm and uncompromising in countering these three evils, Jaishankar said. He added globalization and rebalancing are current day realities which need to be taken forward by the SCO countries. He asserted that cooperation must be based on mutual respect and sovereign equality and that it should recognize the territorial integrity and sovereignty of nations. The minister also stressed that industrial cooperation can enhance competitiveness and expand labour markets. He highlighted that collaborative connectivity and environmental protection are possible avenues of cooperation. Dr. Jaishankar noted that Indian initiatives and endeavours like digital public infrastructure, DPI, women-led development, International Solar Alliance hold strong relevance for the SCO. The minister also said that SCO should lead advocating that global institutions need to keep pace through reformed multilateralism to make the UNSC more representative, inclusive and transparent. Finally, he stressed that to renew our resolve to attain the objectives of the SCO, it is essential that one keeps in mind mutuality of interests and abide by the do's and don'ts of the Charter. So, Dr. Jaishankar arrived in Islamabad on Tuesday and attended a dinner reception for the SCO delegates, where he exchanged pleasantries with Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Both the leaders warmly shook hands and held a very brief interaction. This is the first high-level visit from India in years, amid continuing strain in ties between the two countries. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Mongolian Prime Minister Uyun Erdin Luvsanamasarай on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Islamabad. Both the leaders expressed pleasure in discussing ways to further strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries. DD India's Jessica Taneja now joins us on the story from New Delhi. Jessica, Jaishankar in his opening remarks stressed on mutual trust, sovereign equality and good neighbourliness. Put this into context for us.
Well, the fact of the matter is that, when we're talking about globalization and balancing of ties and looking at the regional players in this particular multilateral setup, the word here is multipolarity, and something that Dr. S. Jaishankar also said in his speech. And also, as you pointed out, the focus on, working towards removing these terror groups, or at least working on that framework which would ensure more peace and stability in terms of security cooperation in the region, has remained one of the agendas. Now, some may say it's a thinly veiled attempt, that Dr. S. Jaishankar may have made, especially when it comes to China and Pakistan, but it's the security issue that takes center stage in his speech, to an extent where he does, in fact, even to an extent, point the three evils, terrorism, separatism and extremism, are intolerable. And in fact, looking at the current geopolitics and the way it's evolving, it's necessary to look at such multilateral forums and perhaps, if not an alternate to what the Western architecture offers at this point. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit also offers for these key regional players. And look at the countries that are part of this SCO grouping. You have Central Asian countries, particularly, and you have Iran as well in it. You also have Belarus, which joined in very recently. Pakistan, of course, which is hosting it. And apart from that, Russia, India, and China. And especially with the relationship that India wants to establish with the Central Asian countries, particularly Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, has been important. And this particular multilateral forum also gives an opportunity to engage with these countries more, which is set aside from various other multilateral setups that India is currently part of, Tanvi.
Yeah. Jessica, what was also said by Jaishankar was building genuine partnerships and not unilateral agendas. So can we expect a thawing of relations between India and Pakistan at this juncture?
Well, this particular grouping or this multilateral event is limited to economic and security cooperation and not necessarily delves deep into, let's say, talks on matters relating to issues, bilateral issues separately. So even though there was an anticipation that, Dr. S. Jaishankar would have conversation on a bilateral meeting with his counterpart, that of course was rejected outright, even during even before his arrival to Islamabad. So especially when it comes to India and Pakistan relationship, nothing will move forward because India maintains the stand that terror and talks do not go together till the time the issue of the border, in fact, with China is also resolved. Conversation, of course, becomes very difficult, but setting a stage for talks is something India would be open to only when the environment for it is provided, which of course suits the conditionality that India wants to continue with further trade, air links or rail links, etc. That whatever is being touted by the Pakistan media at this point. You heard Bilawal Bhutto, the foreign minister of Pakistan, yesterday also speak to the local media saying that they're open to dialogue. They want to talk about issues between the two countries and perhaps look at a way where talks could introduce a different mechanism between the two and perhaps start a channel of conversation and normalization of ties. Now, we in India, and particularly looking at the establishment and how it wants to steer that particular idea forward, at least, or the talks with Pakistan forward would only be sitting on the table if and only if Pakistan promises to take actions on the terror groups that still continue to operate out of its soil.
Okay, thank you very much, Jessica, for those updates.